Hey everyone, I hope you guys are all doing well. I just got back from the Denver Card Show for February 2025. I bought a few things here, a lot of cheapy cards, and I got a few others that are a couple few nice cards in there as well. But without further ado, let's get into what the cards are that I picked up this time. But actually, before we get into that, I normally bring with me a box that I put cards into, that especially ones that don't have sleeves or cases to protect them when I'm just throwing them into a backpack. But I forgot that I left some cards in that box from the last card show back in December, and I completely forgot that I had purchased these. So let's look at the ones that I forgot about. One is, these are all 58s. One's a Gil Hodges, and they're in, kind of, some are in better condition than others. Eddie Matthews, this one I noticed has a crease, so that one's the worst of them. Luis Aparicio, Warren Spahn, Veda Pinson, and Larry Doby. So those ones came from December, and I forgot, so it's kind of like a nice little surprise. And now on to the cards from February or from today. First up and this is a lot of hockey, but just some low grade. This one's got a crease. These are cheap, like quarter cards. Larry Hillman, Billy Harris, Gary Van Russo. So they're not really stars or anything, but they're fun to add to my binder of vintage hockey cards, which, I don't know that I'm really aiming at collecting the sets, but I always kind of add to it with cards that I didn't have before. And then these, I believe, we're starting off with 1970s. We got Dennis Hull, we got Ralph Backstrom, Tim Horton, and these prices are not what I paid for them. As usual, I usually bundle them up and get a deal. And they're kind of in varying conditions. Eddie Giacomin, Brian Hextall, Alex Delvecchio, Mickey Redmond, Rod Sealing, Dennis Hextall, Pitt Martin, and then 71s. We've got, this one's really kind of beat up, Vic Hadfield, Ron Schock, Bob Pulford, Ron Stackhouse, Tracy Pratt, Ted Green, Bob Bound. Those ones are all really low grade. Pat Stapleton, Johnny Buchick, Pitt Martin, Jerry Cheevers, Terry Harper, Derek Sanderson, Jacques Lemaire, Walt Tuggs, I'm not going to pronounce that right, John McKenzie, and these are all like kind of like out of a dollar bin or something. Dennis Hall, Jean Pronovost, Stan Mikita, J.C. Tremblay, Jacques Leperrier, Claude Larose, Rogatien Vachon, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Dallas Smith, Rick Lay, Brian Glennie, Jean-Paul Parise, Dave Keon. And then these ones are in like really beautiful condition. So I grabbed a whole bunch of these. Syl Apps, Reggie Leach, Wayne Cashman, Guy Lapointe, Ron Schock, Giles Miloche, Butch Goring, Doug Faval, Red Berenson, Pitt Martin, Yvonne Corney, I can never pronounce his name either, Ralph Backstrom, Giles Villemure, Jean Pronovost, Rod Sealing, Phil Esposito, Mickey Redmond, Brian Hextall, Ed Johnston, Marcel Dion, Tony Esposito, Jacques Plante, Jacques Lemaire, Brad Park, Rogatien Vachon, Gump Worsley, Stan Mikita, Rod Gilbert, Dave Keon, Bobby Clark, Frank Mahavlich, Ed Giacomin, Norm Ullman, Stan Mikita, and then these ones are peachy. So we got Bobby Clark, Wayne Cashman, Wayne Cashman, and Frank Mahavlich. Ken Dryden, Phil Esposito, Bobby Orr, Dennis Potvin, Phil Esposito, Dennis Potvin, Ed Giacomin, Lanny McDonald, Wayne Gretzky from 1980, Tony Esposito, Canadiens Leaders, Daryl Sittler, and Peter Stastny. And then getting to the baseball, we've got some 1957s, a bunch of Tigers as usual. I'm always grabbing Tigers. Bob Wilson, Paul Wojciak, Elston Howard, Ray Boone, Bob Kennedy. Ended up getting 2 of them. Hoyt Wilhelm, Charlie Maxwell, Frank House, Jim Finnegan, Charlie Maxwell, Charlie Lau, Kurt Flood. And then here's some better 59s, Billy Martin, Ernie Banks, Al Kaline, Whitey Herzog. Here's a Whitey Ford from 1960. Here's a Gaylord Perry rookie. Jim Palmer rookie. This one looked really well centered and really sharp corners. Just beautiful looking card. The seller, he personally graded, he thought it would grade it as a 5 and marked it as 100. He sold it to me for 75 or 80. Can't remember. I'd have to go back and check. But it's really a nice copy of this card. So I'm happy to get a rookie of his, which I have another one that I was planning on grading. I'll probably grade both of them and sell one of them. Here's a Frank Robinson, 1967, and then just 2 random basketball, Vinnie Johnson and Bill Cartwright. So anyway, that's what I got for most of the cards. And then the bigger purchase was this Gordie Howe, and I bought these 2 together, and they've got consecutive PSA registry numbers. The seller, I guess, is working on his own 61 Parkhurst set, and these were his extras that kind of graded lower than the ones that he was keeping for his personal set. These ones, the prices are kind of all over the place on PSA, but the Gordie Howe was $120 and the Bellefontaine was $40. He wouldn't really budge on the prices. He was saying that he spent $150 on this Gordie Howe, and so he wanted to try to make as much of his money back. But sometimes that happens that way when you grade cards and they don't come back with the grades that you were expecting, and you end up paying a little bit over for them. But you can't really pass that on to the buyer. You can either like break it out and resubmit it and try to get a better grade, or maybe sell it raw. But if PSA 3s are not selling for what you paid for it, you kind of have to get what it's worth. But anyway, so $120 I still thought was fair for that card. It's a really nice 3 of a Gordie Howe from 61, so that was pretty cool. And anyway, so that's what I picked up at this particular Denver card show. This was definitely a very hockey heavy pickup for me this time, but I love hockey cards, so I'm always happy to get more for the collection. Anyway, hope you liked this short little video, and hopefully you saw something in there that you thought was cool. And I guess I will see you guys on the next one. Take care.